are you?
There you go. Good, how are you?
I am great. I'm so sorry about all that. That was just
No problem.
totally weird. Yeah, so this podcast is about your journey in music and how you got to where you are now.
Cool.
And yeah, we just watched your movie. I got a 4-year-old and a 12-year-old, and we just watched Godmother yesterday, or no, the other night over the weekend. Love it. So good.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yes, it was amazing. So yeah, so tell me about where did you go up originally, Jillian?
I grew up in Philadelphia suburbs, so I'm here right now. It's
Oh,
cool.
you're in Philly right now?
Yeah.
Right on. Tell me a little bit about growing up there.
It was awesome. I love it. My parents were in a band, so I played in like small bars and restaurants all the time. It was so much fun. I love it here. I'm staring out at a field of grass and woods. It's very nature-esque, different from the LA scene, which I love a lot.
That's awesome. So your parents were in a band.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that a little bit. That's cool.
Yeah, they're not on like Spotify or anything. They just play, they're a cover band. They like play at bars and hotels and private gigs. It's fun. They've been playing since college, so.
That's so cool. So you obviously grew up around all of that. You said you were playing with them. Were you all like, when did you really get into music? I mean, it sounds like you were around it all the time.
Yeah, I feel like it was always around me, but I think when I really got invested was probably when I started playing guitar, because then it was like doing it for myself and writing, and I think I was probably 13, 14.
Okay.
14 probably.
And prior to that, prior to playing guitar, were you a singer?
Yeah, I only sang up until then. I've played piano since I was like 5 or something, but I'm not that great at it because I don't practice.
But when you got the guitar, that was like life-changing. Okay. So talk to me about that.
I wasn't forced to play guitar. I picked up guitar as a choice.
Oh, okay.
Which made me like it a lot, whereas piano I like had been playing since I was 5. So
sure.
I'm very stubborn. So I was like, oh, you guys want me to practice? No. But since I picked up guitar on my own, I would practice for hours and hours and hours because it was my choice.
Sure. Do you feel like the piano like helped though? Like did it have lay some sort of foundation? Yeah.
And you know, when I like stopped taking lessons at 14 or whatever, and my parents were like, you're gonna regret it. I was like, no, and I sure did. But I play a lot for fun now, but I don't take lessons anymore.
Sure.
But I want to at some point.
Is that every kid's story? It's like, look, I don't want to do these piano lessons, but thank you so much, parents, for doing that for me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. So when you get the guitar, did you start writing songs yourself, or were you just trying to learn covers like your parents are playing?
I was learning covers and covers and covers. And then I think there was a Sabrina Carpenter album when I was like 13 that I was like, this is my vibe. And I started writing after that. And I think it picked up slowly and then really fast. And then now it's at a nice medium.
Nice medium. Were you always acting while you were playing music?
Kinda. I did theater when I was like 10 and 11. And then I went out to LA to audition for shows and movies and stuff when I was 12. So since then, I've been acting pretty consistently and just doing music every second I can in between. But before then, no, growing up, it was just music.
Oh, okay. And then so the acting kind of took over for a little bit. And obviously now you have a nice balance.
Yes.
Well, when you started writing songs and stuff at 14, were you going out and playing like open mic nights? Were you playing in a band or anything like when you're in high school?
Yeah, there were a couple open mic nights in LA that me and a bunch of my friends played at very consistently for a couple weeks. And I think we were just getting into going all the time. And then I left to film Godmothered and then COVID hit. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Wow. Okay. Well, with Godmother, I feel like, I read something where you did a cover of Let It Snow and that made the film, but that's kind of what scored the role for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, they for my first audition for Godmothered, I think it was, they said either sing 30 seconds of Let It Snow or sing It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas or one of those type songs. And I was sitting in the waiting room and everyone was like, belting it and singing it at the top of their lungs, like with all these crazy runs and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm either gonna like do that, or I can play my guitar and sing it slowly and try to come up with some different way to do it. And it's
Uh-huh.
probably going to lose me the role, but hey, at least I tried something and it worked. So
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So you went in there with a guitar and and just did a totally different
Yeah,
rendition of it,
I
obviously.
was so embarrassed because I was sitting in the waiting room with like 10 girls who were all just sitting there, and I was sitting there with my giant guitar, and I'm like, I'm the only person here with a guitar, and I'm gonna walk into this room and be like, hey, I brought my guitar, even though you didn't ask me to. But I did it anyway.
Well, it worked out because you play guitar in the movie.
Mhm. That's why I brought it, because it said that she needed to play guitar. So I was like, okay,
Oh.
we're gonna try something here.
Well, yeah, that's funny that nobody else brought a guitar. If that was like specifically written down.
Dude, I don't know. It was panic worthy.
That's so funny. Was there any truth to that film? Like where you know, in the movie, she's terrified of going out and playing in front of people, and then she's kind of pushed out to this massive crowd. Like, is there any truth to that story?
I mean, I feel like when I was really young, I had a bit of stage fright and never really wanted to sing out anywhere. But I think since I've been older, not really. But
Okay.
filming that scene was nerve wracking because the audience you were seeing was probably 50% real. So,
Really?
yeah,
That was a
it was
huge
just like,
crowd.
yeah, it was like, I think 200 people, and then they copy and pasted it a couple times.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, I walked out, and I think it took us 2 days to film
That
that
part.
whole scene of all the
Wow.
stuff on that stage. And I was standing there in front of all of these very sweet people for like 10 hours. And I was just standing there like, oh my God. Like if I get a wedgie, I can't even like fix it. Like there's 200 people looking at me. I was like, I feel like I'm playing like a concert, but like for 2 days.
Oh, that's hilarious. And then how many times did you have to play the song? A bunch? Just standing there?
Yeah, we did it on we were filming that in an airplane hangar, so it was very cold even though we were inside, and I was obviously in a very small dress, so I was shivering.
Yeah.
But they played it off of like these giant speakers in the airplane hangar, so everyone was listening to it over and over and over for 2 days. But there was this little click before that, do 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 do, and everybody was like do because it was just like so many times. But they had me singing with a real microphone, and me actually doing music was like, I refuse to lip sync this
Oh,
because
that's cool.
I hate in movies. I hate it when you can tell that people are lip syncing.
Mhm.
So I sang it with full effort every single take for 2 days, and they ended up using some of the vocals from filming, I believe. So that was
Wow.
worth it because I think it gave it some realness. There's a couple
Oh,
moments where
totally.
you like laugh and you can hear it, and that's real
That's
from
cool. That's
some random take in the middle of nowhere.
right, right. That's awesome though. I mean, it feels real, looks real. I mean, especially with the song, it's like so slowed down, and yeah, with the guitar and everything, I feel like it would be hard to kind of cut all that out. But yeah, it
Yeah,
sounded it's awesome.
exactly.
Um, well, that's that song that you sing there too. That's on like the soundtrack and everything. I mean, that's a big moment in the movie.
I know, it's cool. It's not me playing guitar, that's somebody else, but I'm playing it on stage even though it's not me on the track.
That's awesome though. Well, okay, so you play that song. Like, tell me about you were going to open mic nights right prior to COVID happening. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
we were going a lot.
and so you have a bunch of songs, and are you gonna put out like a record? I know you've released music. Is that
Yeah,
the
I have a couple new ones just chilling in my phone right now, ready to be released. And we're, I think, waiting till like the middle of January, and I'll try and get a couple more together and we'll throw them all out there.
very cool? No, that's awesome. Well, where were you? Like, you were doing music, and then COVID hit. Talk to me about that a little bit. So, were you in the studio? Were you working on something, and then you got shipped back to Philly, or like what happened?
COVID kind of put everything music on hold for a lot of people, I think, because I was mostly just recording a lot and writing, like a lot of writing sessions that obviously now can't happen because we don't want 6 people in a small studio together, but I was definitely doing a lot of writing sessions that halted, but I've done a couple over the phone. It's just different, which is weird.
Oh, you've done Zoom writing over Zoom?
Yeah, I don't like it that much because I feel like it, like somebody's singing something and then somebody else has an idea, but you can't hear because their mic is muted because the other person's making noise. And then
there's like the latency thing, which adds like a whole new element to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Were you guys
trying to play for somebody else to sing, but the timing's off?
Were you guys like sending songs to each other, or like bits and pieces? Was that kind of part of it, or no? Was it all just?
I've tried a couple of writing sessions with people I've never written with before over Zoom, and I feel like that's almost harder. But I wrote with one of my friends she's on a bunch of my stuff, and we have been writing together for years, so we like know how we work. And we wrote over FaceTime, and it was so easy, and like because we have worked together before, we know how it goes, and
you kind of vibe with each other already.
Yeah. But I think with people I've never met before, it's a little bit trickier because you don't know their vibe, and you're like, hey, I've never met you. I can't really assert myself to show you that I kind of know what I'm doing. So I'm gonna like be quiet and awkward because you're glitching and I can't really tell what's going on.
Right. Yeah. It's like somebody's frozen. I can't, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. Like,
so bad.
Like, yeah, you'd have to, if you're writing with somebody with bad internet, you're like, oh my gosh. An hour of the session will be the person frozen. Well, after filming Godmother and kind of playing music in the movie and kind of with that focus, was acting something that kind of happened while you were doing music, or you know what I mean? Like, you trying to really push the music? Are you gonna go full force with music?
I mean, I'm kind of like trying to go full force with both at the same time. It's a weird goal, but everyone always asks me, like, what would you pick, acting or music? And I'm always like, ugh. My absolute favorite thing is when I get to sing in a movie or show. Okay. Like, Godmothered was ideal. Like, I like the fact that I got to work in the studio and I got to record a bunch and I got to be in a lot of music sessions, but also got to film a whole movie and do a fun acting role. And I think that's probably where I want my career to end up, I think.
Okay. More of like both, kind of mixing the two, so to speak.
And I want to do the Julia Michaels songwrite for everybody on the face of the earth thing. I feel like that would be fun.
Oh, okay. So you'd like to write for other people? Yeah,
I would like to. Got to get some years on me so I can go into sessions and not look like I'm 16. But
well, with writing for other people, is that you would rather have a song or write songs and have Julia Michaels or somebody perform it than to actually do that yourself?
I like both. I really like performing, but I also think it would be really fun to write somebody else's stuff.
Did you do musical theater and stuff growing up?
Yeah, I did a couple shows. I was in Les Mis at a regional theater, played young Avenaim. That was fun. And I did a panto in Philly, which was also really fun. And then that was kind of right when I started, and I did those 2 shows and then went right to LA and never really got to go back to theater, but I want to go back to theater at some point because I like it a lot.
I feel like you are way into music and way into acting. I mean, it's kind of like a blend of the two, but
yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's funny. Well, okay. Well, so COVID hits, you did Godmothered, and then now you're kind of in writing sessions. What's next musically for you?
Oh, I want to put out an album. That's in the process. That would be fun. I want to start writing and trying to get into more sessions and stuff. Because I feel like once I turned 18, I'm like, now I feel like I can try and start going into rooms for other people, not just myself. Because I think nobody really wants to be like, oh yeah, let's let this 15-year-old in on a writing session for this 25-year-old artist. Nobody wants that. And that's understandable. But I feel like now I'm getting old enough, hopefully, that could start happening. So
yeah, you feel like you have a little bit more confidence with the age thing, or?
I feel like I won't get like judged in a way, because I feel like when like 16-year-olds are like, oh, I want to work with adults, everybody's like, you're 16.
Right.
I feel like 18, 19, I can start trying to get into the adults realm of music.
Yeah. Well, because you were on the another Disney show for a while. Like, was it? I'm curious with, childhood actor, so to speak. Like, do you feel like there's like a stigma there that you have to kind of, prove yourself more? I mean, I don't know. Like, you'd think like, oh, well, that's just a child actor or whatever. Like, and now you're like, oh, I want to be a writer. Like, do you feel like you have to?
I've never really gotten that. I feel like the only stigma is being an 18-year-old girl trying to be successful. I think the Disney thing did great things, honestly. I loved it, had the best time. I don't really think I've ever had to like prove myself, I think it's like all fine other than the 18-year-old girl thing. I think that's where the having to push harder and prove myself comes from, is from being a female and being a child. Well, adult, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know, because I would think, or maybe there would be like some sort of stigma there, like, oh, but that's great that you've never experienced that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, there were a couple years when I would audition for dramatic shows and they would be like, oh, we don't want to see you, you're a Disney actor, so you probably don't do drama. And I'm like, well, give me a chance,
right?
Please. But that stopped with age anyway, so.
Sure. What about like going live or performing these new songs that you wrote, like on your Instagram or whatever? Have you done any of that?
I love that. Yeah, I go live a lot and sing for fun. I mostly sing covers because I'm like, I don't want to give any spoilers, but sometimes I do. Yeah, I love using social media as a way to like connect with people and to sing. It's like a big concert that you don't need to prepare for. It's nice.
So you'll go on there like pretty like when you say covers, like what do you go on and play?
Oh my gosh, I love like Ed Sheeran, Tori Kelly, all the acoustic people, Shawn Mendes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll play guitar and sing. That's really cool. That's really cool. And then obviously once COVID and everyone's safe to get out there, what about like a tour or playing big shows? Is that something you want to do?
Fun. I would like to at some point. It's once again the pushing both music and acting. So whatever, I'm kind of just letting life do its thing.
Right.
Kind of like doing whatever comes to my door. Is that the slogan? No, it's not. What is it? There's some phrase that people say, but whatever I'm thinking of, it's that.
Okay. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Jillian, for talking with me today. I really appreciate you and your time. This has been so fun.
Thank you so much. This is so fun.
And sorry about the issue with my mic. I don't know what's going on with my microphone.
Don't worry about it. You're
good. Well, I want to know if you have any advice for any other for aspiring artists.
Oh my gosh, I feel like keep working. I think people get caught up, me included, I'm people. People get so caught up in, I want to succeed, I want to succeed, I want to succeed. But instead of putting that energy into thinking about succeeding, start working and start writing. If you want to be a writer, start writing. If you want to be an actor, start acting. Just keep trying and trying and trying. And eventually the work turns into success. Whereas just thinking about success, which is part of it, doesn't really get you anywhere. Bringing it backward.